Welcome to the Fire and Feminine Podcast, a space for women who are done forcing their bodies and ready to rebuild strength, safety, and trust from the inside out. I'm your host, Victoria, and here we talk about physiology-informed strength, nervous system-aware training, core and pelvic floor support, and what it actually means to feel powerful again in a body that's changing. This isn't fitness hype, it's not hustle wellness, and it's not about fixing yourself. It's about understanding your body deeply enough that you stop fighting it and start training it intelligently. So take a breath with me before we begin. Inhale, long exhale, and let's drop it. I want to start out today's episode with something very specific. You bend down to pick up a grocery bag or your work bag or your gym bag, or you set up for a deadlift, and instead of feeling solid through your core, you feel soft and mushy. Not weak, not injured, not painful, just less structured. Almost like your midsection didn't catch the load the way it used to. You stand up fine, you finish the lift, nothing dramatic happens. But internally, it didn't feel crisp. It felt mushy. And if you're honest, that bothers you more than the pain would. Because you're a strong woman. You lift, you train, you move consistently. So why would your core feel soft? Why would your midsection feel less reactive than it used to? And part of you wonders, is this age? Is this stress? Is this hormones? Is this because I had kids? Am I losing my foundation? Let's slow that narrative down, because what you're feeling isn't weakness, it's sequencing. See, we've been conditioned to think the core is abs, planks, bracing harder, squeezing tighter. But your true core system is a pressure system. Your diaphragm on top, your pelvic floor on the bottom, your abdominal wall wrapping around, your ribcage stacked over your pelvis. See, we've been conditioned to think the core is abs, planks, bracing harder, squeezing tighter. But your true core system is a pressure system. Your diaphragm on top, your pelvic floor on the bottom, your abdominal wall wrapping around, your ribcage stacked over your pelvis. When load enters your body from a barbell or a grocery bag or even just gravity during a long day, pressure builds inside your abdominal cavity. That pressure should expand 360 degrees, be absorbed, be redirected, and transferred into the ground. When the system is well timed, it feels reactive, contained, compact, strong. You don't think about it. It just works. But when timing is off, you feel softness because your system doesn't know where to send the load. So why is this showing up more now? Let's talk about why this might feel differently lately, because this isn't random. There are big factors at play for strong women in their 30s, 40s, and beyond. Fatigue. Warm-up feels fine. Lighter loads feel fine. But under fatigue, your nervous system defaults to its easiest strategy. If you've been living in stress, high mental load, career pressure, family responsibilities, travel, lack of sleep, your body lives in low-grade tension. The diaphragm becomes less mobile. The pelvic floor becomes more reactive. The ribs start to flare subtly. So when a load enters your system, instead of expanding and absorbing pressure evenly, it will either overgrip or collapse. Both can feel like softness. Chronic bracing. Many strong women brace all day long, not just in the gym. When they are driving, working, parenting, standing in line, holding tension in the abdomen, holding tension in the jaw, holding tension in the pelvic floor, like me. The jaw and pelvic floor are neurologically linked. If you clench one, you often clench the other. When you constantly brace, the system never practices yielding. So when true load arrives, the system doesn't know how to respond dynamically. It either locks or lets go. And that in-between place feels kind of mushy. Hormonal shifts, even subtle perimenopausal changes affect things like connective tissue elasticity, fluid retention, neuromuscular timing. This does not mean you're fragile. It means your timing needs refinement. And this does not mean lighter weights. It doesn't mean fewer reps. It means better coordination. So here's why more core work isn't fixing it. Because most women respond to this feeling by doing more planks, ab circuits, squeezing, glute activation. But here's the problem. Strength without sequencing increases pressure. If your diaphragm can't descend fully and your pelvic floor can't respond appropriately and your ribs aren't stacked over your pelvis, on top of dysfunction, which means the system feels more fatigued, which makes it feel softer under real load. And this is why you can be objectively strong and still feel internally unstable. Strength and pressure timing are not the same thing. So what does reactive actually feel like? Let's define the goal. A reactive core feels like compact but not clenched, firm but rigid, stable but not stuck, and responsive under load. You don't have to hold your breath. You don't have to suck in. And you don't have to overthink it. Your diaphragm descends, your pelvic floor responds, your abdominal wall wraps naturally, and pressure transfers like it needs to. You feel contained. That's not six-pack abs, that's coordination. Now, I want to address an identity piece that is a deeper layer in all of this, because I know this isn't just mechanical for you. You remember when your body felt automatic, when you didn't question it, when heavy days felt strong, not strategic, and when your core feels soft now, even subtly, it hits your identity. You think, am I aging out of this? Am I declining? Did I miss my window? And no, you didn't. You've just outgrown generic programming. You've reached the level where mechanics matter even more. And that's not fragility. That's maturity in training. So the fix for this can be assessment, not guessing. When your core feels soft under load, we don't want panic. Train lighter, avoid heavy, blame motherhood, assume weakness. We assess things like rib position, pelvic orientation, diaphragm movement, pelvic floor tone, fatigue response. We test load tolerance intentionally because softness isn't a failure, it's feedback. And feedback is usable. So here's your transformational tip for the week. Before your next heavy lifting session, instead of bracing harder, do this. Fully exhale before you descend. Let your ribs drop naturally. Allow the pelvic floor to soften briefly. Then inhale and build pressure gradually. Train yield before force. See if the set feels different. Not tighter, more contained. So if this episode made you think, that's exactly it, that's the feeling that I've been having, then you don't need another random ab program. You need clarity with how your body works. The Resilient Core Strategy session exists for women exactly like you. Women who are strong but want their foundation to feel automatic again. We assess factors like your pressure strategy, your load tolerance, and your coordination under fatigue. It's no guesswork. It's no generic fixes. It's precision. If you're ready to stop wondering what changed and actually understand your pattern, you can book your session through the link in the show notes below. If this episode resonated with you, share it with a strong woman in your life who deserves to feel powerful and supported in her body as well. And if you haven't already, subscribe and leave a review. Every time you do it, it helps more women find this space and realize they're not broken, fragile, or alone. They're capable of rebuilding from the inside out. So until next time, stay strong, stay rooted, and stay connected to your core, my friends.